Why do I always get hurt? If you have asked yourself this question after every single romantic relationship that you have ever had, then keep watching this video and I will share 2 quick tips for you to start to trust again. Hey, it's your girl Esha here, Carnivalista in Chief of the Carnivalista Lifestyle, and I am a travel consultant for professional Black women who take care of everybody else and would like to put themselves at the top of their list in spite of society constantly telling them that they should be at the bottom of that list. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Why do I always get hurt? You, like many other women around the world, have asked yourself this question after every single romantic relationship. It keeps happening to you over and over and over again, and you're really wondering, why does this always happen? You put your time, your energy, and everything into a relationship only for it to go wrong or to go sideways or to just not turn out the way that you want it to be. And then you come to, why me? Why am I always getting hurt? And I completely understand. Having asked myself that question more times than I care to admit throughout my life, especially in my last romantic relationship before I met my husband. I was in a relationship for 3 years at that point. And, I really wanted to take things to the next step. I really thought that this person and I had a really great friendship. We knew each other's families. We knew everything about each other. And we just really vibed well, And I absolutely loved him deeply and he loved me as well. However, when I started taking the steps towards making the relationship more serious, at that point, I thought we should get married. We were dating for 3 years already. Like, what, right? And he was not ready. He still wanted to go back to school. He still wanted to get a house and do all of these things. And in my mind, these were all things that I thought we could do together. But in his mind, he was very, very clear that he wanted to do them himself and then think about settling down with someone. So at that point, we were at an impasse. We definitely did not want the same things. And it was a big thing. It was not something that could be easily reconciled. So, I decided to break off that relationship. And why do I always get hurt? That's definitely what came up for me because, as I said, I was deeply in love with him and it didn't turn out the way that I wanted it to. I really genuinely saw happily ever after with this person. So the relationship ended and you have to get back to the place of where you trust again. There really is no way around it. So here are 2 things that I did to get back to that place of trusting someone again. The first thing that I did, and I'm sure this will sound a little bit weird to you, is create a work-love balance in my life. You are watching this and you are a busy professional woman. You have back-to-back appointments on everything. You have many commitments that you give your time to regularly. Fall into bed tired at the end of the night for maybe 5-6 hours of sleep and get up and do it all over again. I completely get that. So think about your last romantic relationship. Did you make room for that romantic relationship? I'm sure you did. I'm sure you made room for that romantic relationship. You made it a priority and you fit it into your life. So why do you do that for somebody else and you don't do that for your own self-love and self-care? Think about that for a moment. When you don't make room in your own life for your self-care and your self-love ultimately, and to feel better about yourself, what signals are you giving off that will manifest more of that in your life? It signals that you don't really care for yourself. You don't really love yourself. You don't even have time to take care of yourself. Those are all signals and energy signals that attract more of that to you. Here's what I want you to consider. There's no blame on you here. there is no fault or no blame why you would hold this person coming in that you don't even know in a romantic relationship and making all this room for them in your life, and holding that in higher regard than you do yourself, because you did not even make room for your self-love and your self-care before the romantic relationship came along. And I say there's no blame for that because we as women, especially as Black women, we are conditioned to do this. Now, what do I mean by conditioning? Conditioning can take many different forms, but it's the constant messages that you are sent, whether it's through members in your family, maybe it was messages that you received when you were small or when you were a little girl in school. Those are all conditioning because it's something that comes in through to you consciously, and if you don't reject it consciously, it becomes a part of your subconscious, and your subconscious is what is running the show. You may think that your conscious mind is running the show. No. Your subconscious mind is running the show, which is why when this romantic relationship showed up, you made room for it because you have been conditioned to accommodate others before yourself. So your work-love balance is not so much about making room for a romantic relationship in your life or for a life partner. It's more about making room for your self-love and your self-care first. When you do that, you send out those energy signals again that I believe that I am important and I am making time for myself. When you continuously practice that and it becomes a habit and you start to make room for yourself in your busy, crazy, packed schedule, okay? When you start to make room for your own self, those energy signals go out that I am important. I hold myself in the highest regard. And the love flows from there. You will be surprised how quickly romantic relationships or prospects will come to you once you really start to make room and make yourself a priority from a self-love and self-care perspective. Now, the second thing that I did to begin to trust again in relationships was to love myself more. My mom would always say this to me, especially as a teenager, as I started getting into romantic relationships. Love yourself more. I can still hear her voice saying it in my head. I'm going to share with you another growing up Trini wisdom that my mom would always say. Believe people by their actions and not their words. Or I've also heard it said, believe who people are when they show you who they are the first time. Now, what does that mean exactly? So we talked about the conditioning that we as women have received throughout much of our lives. And one of those things that we have been conditioned to do is to reinterpret others' actions as loving actions and not as what they actually are. And I'll give you a really simple example. And perhaps this didn't happen to you, but I know that it happened to me. As a young girl, if a boy acted mean towards me or maybe hit me or, maybe pulled my ribbons or my clips from my hair, because, my mom loved ribbons and clips. I don't know any Caribbean mother who did not. That would be reinterpreted, or I would be given the message by whether my friends or even adults would say that sometimes. Oh, don't worry, that boy like you, that boy likes you. That's why he does that. Take that message over 10 years, 15 years, and now you are a teenager, having heard that message that someone or a guy or a romantic interest, it could be a woman, it could be anybody really, who treats you badly, who is mean to you, who demeans you or belittles you. That is love. You've had 10 to 15 years of conditioning around that, where that is the message that you have been given. And we as women, and I know that I'm totally guilty of this, in thinking about others' inconsiderateness or perhaps their lack of regard for my feelings, reinterpreting, rationalizing, and making excuses generally for this crazy behavior. It's something that is in our subconscious, which is running the show, as I said earlier, right? So here's what I want you to do. In taking others' actions and seeing what it means and and seeing who they are the first time, there is so much that you would not put up with. That person would not be allowed to come into your space, into your life, to be even considered as a romantic partner, right? If you really looked at it from the beginning, because we have the tendency, if we're really excited, I know if I was really excited about a guy and, you know, he was good looking and we vibed, we talked about everything under the sun, and something happens where I felt that he was inconsiderate, I have completely ignored it, brushed it aside, and thought, it's just one time, you know? And then it happened again and again and again, and I still continued to brush it off and make it smaller than it actually should have been, and then kept continuing. And then other behaviors showed up where, if from the very first time that it happened, I looked at it and either addressed it with the person and had them understand how I wanted to be treated, and they changed that behavior and it never happened again, that's a completely different scenario from ignoring it and continuing to rationalize it and have it happen over and over and over again. Because when you are sharing energy with someone, you want a life partner, you want a romantic relationship, that person, you are going to be trusting them. Don't give your trust away to somebody who does not treat you how you want to be treated. We teach people how we want to be treated. I'm a very firm believer in that. You are not, under no circumstances, to give your trust to someone who does not earn that trust or show you that they are trustworthy with your heart. So when you have someone who you're dating, or you are trying to come around and trust them again, what are their actions showing you? And through their actions, if they are showing you that they are trustworthy, if they are showing you that they hold you in high regard, that they care about what you think, that they care about your feelings, and they routinely show you that, then that's who you need to trust with your heart, trust with your feelings. But let your trust definitely be hard-won. All right, so to recap, number 1 was to create a work-love balance, and number 2 is to love yourself more. I hope that you enjoyed these 2 quick tips. Leave me a comment below and let me know what you thought about them. Have you tried applying them yourself? And if not, are you going to apply them? Definitely let me know in the comments. Be sure to visit our website for videos like this about self-love, self-care, and travel. And as always, I'll see you in the next video.